What unfolded during FBI Director Kash Senate Judiciary testimony represents, in the eyes of his critics, a profound and potentially historic collapse of the law enforcement shield that Donald Trump allegedly constructed to protect himself from accountability. Because Patel, Trump's hand-picked loyalist, installed to control the FBI and suppress damaging investigations, now appears to be facing serious legal jeopardy himself after a series of missteps, contradictions, and revelations that suggest obstruction of justice, abuse of authority, and participation in illegal operations rather than neutral law enforcement, beginning with the public backlash over his handling of the Charlie Kirk assassination investigation, where Patel prematurely announced that a suspect was in custody and appeared to take credit for investigative breakthroughs that state authorities later clarified were the result of a joint operation, prompting rare criticism from conservative figures like Chris Rufo, who openly questioned whether Patel was fit to run the FBI, signaling that dissent was emerging from within Trump's own ideological coalition rather than just from Democrats or the media. And this internal criticism set the stage for what became a far more damaging confrontation during Patel's Senate testimony, where lawmakers presented evidence and recordings that allegedly demonstrate Patel's role in using the FBI not as an independent investigative agency, but as a political tool designed to protect Trump personally by suppressing evidence, purging dissenting agents, and manipulating intelligence flow, including audio recordings in which Patel allegedly promised zero-latency intelligence shielding, a phrase that in intelligence community terms would normally mean efficient information sharing, but in this context was interpreted as a pledge to ensure damaging intelligence about Trump never reached prosecutors, congressional oversight committees, or the public, effectively transforming the FBI's immense investigative power into a defensive barrier for the president rather than an instrument of justice. And this interpretation was reinforced by testimony and documents suggesting Patel ordered or approved the firing of FBI agents who raised concerns about evidence handling related to January 6th and classified documents, replacing them with loyalists who would not challenge questionable directives, a pattern critics describe as institutional witness tampering, designed to silence internal alarms before they could reach the outside world. While simultaneously, Patel was confronted with documents showing he personally signed execution warrants authorizing the seizure of Venezuelan oil tankers, actions directly tied, according to whistleblowers and senators, to Trump's unauthorized Venezuela operation that allegedly violated the War Powers Act and bypassed congressional authorization, meaning Patel was not merely shielding Trump after the fact, but actively using FBI resources to advance an operation that legal experts inside the government were already warning could constitute serious violations of domestic and international law. And this direct participation dramatically increased Patel's own criminal exposure, making him not just a protector, but a potential co-conspirator, which became even more dangerous for him when senators highlighted contradictions between his current testimony and his earlier sworn statements during his confirmation hearings in early 2025, contradictions that cannot be reconciled without at least one set of statements being false under oath, opening the door to perjury charges that carry significant prison time and give prosecutors leverage to pressure cooperation. And when Patel attempted to avoid answering by repeatedly invoking the Fifth Amendment, the presiding judge, who was observing because the testimony intersected with ongoing court cases, warned that Patel's blanket refusal to answer even basic questions about his duties, communications, and signed documents could constitute contempt of court, characterizing the pattern as abusive and obstructionist rather than a legitimate assertion of constitutional rights, signaling that Patel could face immediate arrest if he continued to stonewall, a moment that observers viewed as pivotal because contempt incarceration would force Patel to choose between sitting in jail indefinitely or cooperating with investigators. And layered onto all of this were explosive whistleblower allegations that Patel suppressed evidence in multiple unrelated cases to protect Trump and his allies, including claims that he buried evidence from an FBI sting operating $50,000 in cash bribes connected to contractor kickbacks, evidence that should have resulted in swift prosecution but instead allegedly vanished inside the Bureau, as well as allegations that Patel suppressed Epstein-related files at Trump's direct order, a charge that, if true, would mean the FBI director actively concealed evidence related to child sex trafficking involving powerful individuals, a category of crime so morally and politically toxic that even Trump's most loyal defenders would struggle to justify it. And Trump's frantic response on Truth Social, denouncing the hearing as a witch hunt and threatening retaliation against Republicans who supported contempt or prosecution, only underscored, in critics' eyes, how desperate the situation had become, because Trump's political leverage has weakened dramatically, with approval ratings collapsing, allies turning against him, former lawyers cooperating with investigators, and now the very official tasked with protecting him facing the prospect of arrest, prosecution, or cooperation, all of which would dismantle the firewall Trump relied upon to keep evidence suppressed. Since if Patel flips, he can provide detailed testimony about which investigations were buried, which documents were hidden, and which orders came directly from Trump. And even if Patel refuses to cooperate and is arrested for contempt or removed, Trump still loses control of the FBI, allowing suppressed evidence to flow freely to prosecutors and Congress, meaning every possible outcome of Patel's legal jeopardy accelerates Trump's exposure rather than containing it. And as GOP senators watch this unfold, they are confronted with a political nightmare in which defending Patel means defending alleged suppression of child sex trafficking evidence, bribery, and illegal foreign operations, positions that are indefensible to voters heading into midterm elections, making further defections from Trump increasingly likely. And when all these elements are viewed together, the warrant approvals tying Patel to illegal operations, the recordings demonstrating intent to obstruct justice, the agent purges silencing internal dissent, the perjury contradictions, the judge's contempt warning, the whistleblower allegations spanning bribery and Epstein files, and Trump's frantic public defense, the picture that emerges is not of routine partisan conflict, but of a law enforcement apparatus allegedly hijacked to protect one man from accountability, and now collapsing under the weight of its own corruption, leaving Trump exposed on every legal front, and Patel facing a stark choice between loyalty and self-preservation, with the outcome likely to determine not only Patel's fate, but the trajectory of the criminal cases closing in on Trump, as the suppression mechanisms fail and the evidence they concealed begins to surface, signaling what critics describe as the definitive end of Trump's control over federal law enforcement and the beginning of a flood of accountability that can no longer be contained. Directly from Trump. And even if Patel refuses to cooperate and is arrested for contempt or removed, Trump still loses control of the FBI, allowing suppressed evidence to flow freely to prosecutors and Congress, meaning every possible outcome of Patel's legal jeopardy accelerates Trump's exposure rather than containing it. And as GOP senators watch this unfold, they are confronted with a political nightmare in which defending Patel means defending alleged suppression of child sex trafficking evidence, bribery, and illegal foreign operations, positions that are indefensible to voters heading into midterm elections, making further defections from Trump increasingly likely. And when all these elements are viewed together, the warrant approvals tying Patel to illegal operations, the recordings demonstrating intent to obstruct justice, the agent purges silencing internal dissent, the perjury contradictions, the judge's contempt warning, the whistleblower allegations spanning bribery and Epstein files, and Trump's frantic public defense, the picture that emerges is not of routine partisan conflict, but of a law enforcement apparatus allegedly hijacked to protect one man from accountability, and now collapsing under the weight of its own corruption, leaving Trump exposed on every legal front front, and Patel facing a stark choice between loyalty and self-preservation, with the outcome likely to determine not only Patel's fate, but the trajectory of the criminal cases closing in on Trump, as the suppression mechanisms fail and the evidence they concealed begins to surface, signaling what critics describe as the definitive end of Trump's control over federal law enforcement and the beginning of a flood of accountability that can no longer be contained.